All right, so in chapter 4, we were focused on graphing equations. Chapter 5, we're focusing on writing equations, but the chapters are so similar because you're dealing with slope and y-intercepts and graphs and tables and stuff like that. So it all goes hand in hand, and I do feel like what we learned today will just continue to reaffirm what we've learned in chapter 4 and kind of dive a little bit deeper into some other aspects. So let's get started. Today we're going to be writing equations, but we're focusing on slope-intercept form. And y'all did this in IXL yesterday as well. So who can tell me what is slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. So I want you to write that right here. Kind of go towards the top. This is the most popular form for a linear equation. What does the m represent in this equation? The slope. And what does the b represent in this equation? The y-intercept. And that needs to be extremely memorized by you guys, okay? Now, I have taught you all the ways to find slope, this piece, but I have not taught you all the ways to find the y-intercept. We've only looked at it when it's on a graph, and we've been able to just visually see it. So that's one of the things I'm going to teach you today is how do you find this when you don't have it. So real quick, let's talk about how do we find the slope piece, which is the m. That's one way. We can use rise over run. And when do we use rise over run? When there's a graph. Thank you. When there's a graph. All right. Then I also taught you the slope formula, which is the change in y over the change in x. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this is on your star chart that will be provided for you for your EOC. So you don't have to memorize that. Okay, so this is already stuff that we know. Now let's go look how easy some of these are. It says use slope and y-intercept to write an equation. So if they provide you the slope and y-intercept, you're simply going to put those pieces in this equation. And again, we did this in IXL yesterday. So how would I write it? I would say y equals, instead of m, I would replace it with, so 12x plus, and instead of b, I'm going to write a y-intercept of 5. And that's how easy those are. So once you know the slope and y-intercept, you're just plugging it in for the m and the b. All right, for the next one, how would I write this? Y equals 4x minus 3. How else could I have written it? 4x plus negative 3. This is the more common way that you're going to see it written, though. Okay, if I ask you to write an equation from a graph, all you need is an m and a b. So you need an m and you need a b. You already know how to find these two pieces. The y-intercept is where it touches the y-axis. So where is this line touching the y-axis at? 4. At 4. So that is your y-intercept. And to find slope, you could simply use rise over run. So my rise is up 1, 2, 3, 4. And my run is left 1, 2, 3. Therefore, I got a negative. Then you would simplify that fraction, which it cannot simplify. Now that I have those two pieces, I simply plug this in for the m and this in for the b. So I would write y equals, anybody? Well, where, you think I would leave the 3 at the bottom? Or would I write like negative 4/3 x plus 4? It's just the more common way to write it. Okay, and that would be your answer. All right, do you guys want to try this one on your own? Go try it. Remember, you need an m and a b. Okay, what was the y-intercept? Negative what?
2.
Negative 2. And then my rise was up 2 and right 1, which simplifies to simply 2. So my equation would be written y equals 2x minus 2, or plus negative 2. Good? Yes or no? All right, let's go to the next page. Now, on this one it says, write an equation of the line given 2 points. Now, there are 2 ways you could do this. You could go find the slope by doing the slope formula, or you could go graph them, yes, and then use it the way we did it. I'm going to go graph them since they gave me a graph. So I'm going to graph 3, negative 1, and 0, negative 5. Now, what did y'all notice about this coordinate right here? How do you know it's the y-intercept? When the x value is 0. So if they give you the y-intercept, then the b is negative 5. Do y'all see that? So don't make yourself work harder than you have to, is what I'm telling you. If they give you a coordinate where the x value is 0, then that y is the b. So when I'm looking at the m and the b, I already know the y-intercept is negative 5. Does that make sense? Yes or no? And then for slope, okay, well, first of all, I'm going to go put a line through this. Could I go rise and run again? Or I don't know. I don't really know the slope formula yet, so I didn't do it. All right, so to find my slope, I'm going to do rise over run from this dot to this dot. My rise is up 1, 2, 3, 4. And my run is right 1, 2, 3. I don't need to simplify because it is simplified. So I'm going to write my equation. Y equals 4/3 x minus 5. Hurry up. Okay, go start the next one. Bless you. So what did y'all notice about this coordinate right here? It was the y-intercept. Because the x value was 0, then this means the y-intercept is at 2. And when you graph that, then you obviously see that. All right, the rise was 1, 2, 3, and it was up 3. And the run was left 1, 2, 3, 4. So my equation is written y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. Super easy, yes? All right, now we're going to get to the brand new part that I have not taught you, which is how do you solve for the b when you don't have a graph, or when it's not an integer, it's a decimal, because you can't see that on a graph, yes? All right, so put a little star by this because this is the new part. And I have written the steps for you right here in your notes, okay? So let's talk about the steps before we go do them. All right, it says the steps for solving for slope and y-intercept from 2 points. The first step, you're obviously going to solve for with a You guys know how to do that. So you're going to go do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is step 1. All right, once you know that, you're going to write your equation in y equals mx plus b form, but instead of putting the m, you're going to fill in the, hello, what did we solve for in step 1? So instead of, for 2, we're going to fill in that slope that we solved for. So we would write, let's say if we got 2, I'd put y equals 2x plus b, yes? Now, the next thing you would do is solve for b, because that's the whole point. We need the y-intercept. So we're going to be solving for this piece by plugging in one of the coordinates for the x and y. So you can fill in this, and this to solve for this b. I'm going to say it again. The first step, what are we solving for? The m. The slope. Do y'all agree? They gave you an x and a y and an x and a y. Does everybody agree? If they give you 2 points, they're giving you an x and a y and an x and a y. You're going to pick one of those x and y's, either one, and you're going to plug in the y for y and the x for x, and then you're left with an equation with only b to solve for. Once you have your m and your b, then you're going to go put it in this form just like we did here. Does that make sense? Okay, if you get confused, again, I have all the steps written for you. So let's start with step 1. What is step 1? Solve for the? All right, so just a quick review. This is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. So I'm solving for the slope. So I'm going to do 23 minus 8 over 5 minus 2. Remember, you can put this all in your calculator under alpha y equals. And that is my m. So my m is 5. That is one of the answers I need. So in my equation, in my final answer, it's going to be y equals 5x plus whatever I get for the b. Does this make sense? All right, now I'm going to take that answer, and I am going to write y equals 5x plus b. What is my goal now? I need an m, and I need a... So now my goal is to solve for the b. To solve for the b, I'm going to pick one of these coordinates, and it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick this one. And I'm going to plug in 8 for the y and 2 for the what? For the x. And that is how I am going to solve for b. So I'm going to go 8 equals 5 times 2 plus b. Okay, here we go. 8 equals 5 times 2 is plus b. Now, how would I get b by itself? I'm going to subtract 10. So 8 minus 10 is negative 2 equals b. And that is now my b. b equals negative 2. Okay? So now that I have my m and my b, can I make an equation that looks like this? Yes. So I'm going to write y equals 5x minus 2. Now, every year that I teach this, my students get confused. They're like, wait, do I plug in the y and the x? The only reason I did that was to set up an equation to solve for b. But my final answer is a slope-intercept equation where it says y equals mx plus b, where you're only filling in the m and the b. Does that make sense? Okay, I want you to do step 1 on this one. Okay, so we're on this one. You should have done y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is negative 4. Yes? Okay, so I'm going to go to alpha y equals 2 minus 5 over 2 minus negative 4. What is my value of m? Negative 1/2. Now, my whole point to do this is to write an equation with an m and a, so I now need a b. That's my next job. Okay? So to solve for b, I'm going to write y equals, and for m, what am I going to write? Negative 1/2 x plus b. To solve for b, I'm going to plug in one of these coordinates. And guys, it does not matter which one you do, you will get the same answer. Now, how many of you love negatives? Because I don't. So which one would you pick? I pick this one. And I'm going to plug in 2 for x and 2 for y. And it doesn't matter if you had chosen this one, you will get the same answer for b. Okay, so I'm going to go plug in 2 equals negative 1/2 times 2 plus b. Okay, so I have 2 equals. What is negative, or what's half of 2? 1. So I have negative 1 plus b. Okay, so how am I going to get b by itself? Plus 1. So I have 3 equals b. So over here I've got my m and I've got my b. What is my final goal? To write a slope-intercept equation. So I need y equals mx plus b with the m and the b filled out. So my answer is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. Question. Because that's what we got for the slope. So the first step we did y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That solves for what piece? The m. Okay? Why did I put that there? Because in y equals mx plus b, I filled in that piece. The m was negative 1/2. Do you understand or no? Okay, I'm going to say it again. Step 1, you know how to do this. You know how to solve for slope, yes? That's how I got negative 1/2. So I did y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I got this number. So in y equals mx plus b, negative 1/2 goes for the m. That's where that came from. Okay? All right, let's do this one together. What am I going to solve for first? The m. So Jason, I'm solving for the m by doing, if you want to write it down, I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and that's going to give me the m. Okay, so let's go do that. 9 minus 15 over 1 minus negative 2. Okay, so what did y'all get for the m? Everybody got negative 2? Okay, so I'm going to write my m is negative 2. That is not my final answer. That is a piece of my answer that I need. So Jason, what is the other piece I need? I need my b. I am going to use my m to get the b. Okay, so I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. I think that's the piece I left out that confused you. So write that piece, okay? So why am I going to put negative 2 right here for m? Because m is negative 2. So I'm going to write y equals negative 2x plus b. Now do you understand why that piece went there? Now, to solve for b, what other pieces would I have to fill in? Y and x. You get to pick which one you want to use. Which one looks easier to y'all? I like this one. So I'm going to write 9 equals negative 2 times x, what's x? 1 plus b. So I have 9 equals negative 2 plus b. How am I going to get rid of negative 2? Plus 2. So what is b? Now, that is not my final answer. I'm now going to use the m and the b to write an equation that looks like this. So my answer would be y equals negative 2x plus 11. Are we okay? Okay, I want y'all to try this one on your own by following the steps. Did everybody get negative 3 for the m? Yes? Okay, awesome. Now you should be trying to solve for b on your own. And you can use any coordinate that you want to. Okay, so notice I wrote y equals mx plus b, then I wrote y equals negative 3x plus b. Now I'm going to pick a coordinate. Which one did y'all choose? Me too, just because they were smaller. So now I'm going to write 9 equals negative 3 times x, which is negative 5, plus b. So now I have 9 equals 15 plus b. How would I get rid of the 15? Minus 15. And 9 minus 15 is negative 6. So my b is negative 6. Now I can write my equation. Y equals negative 3x minus 6. Okay, any questions? Now, look at the next page. These are the same types of problems, but they are presented as functions. Do y'all remember functions? Yes? Remember, if I write f of x equals, and then I have an answer, this is the input, and this is the output. So you can make coordinates out of these numbers. All right, so if they say f of 0 equals 5, which one of these is the x? the 0. So I would write 0, comma, 5, and then 4, comma, 17. Yes? Now, what is it asking me to do? Write an. Anytime you want to write an equation, they're asking for y equals mx plus b, where you are filling in the m and the b. All right, so here we go. Question. Do I need to do all these steps for these two coordinates? Tell me why not, Emily. They already gave me the y-intercept. How do you know that? Because x is 0. Please don't go work yourself to death if they give you the y-intercept. You see what I'm saying? If I was to graph this, 0, 5 is where it's touching the y-axis. So what is my b? I already know it. What is my b? 5. So I don't need to go do all those steps. All I need is the slope. Do y'all agree? All right, so for slope, 17 minus 5 over 4 minus 0. What is that, 12 over 4? Isn't that 3? So my equation would be y equals 3x plus 5. Now, if they had not given me the y-intercept, then I would have to go do it like I just taught you and solve for the b. Yes? Okay, over here, how would I write these coordinates? Zero, comma, 3, and negative 4, comma, 11. Did they give you the y-intercept? Yes, so I'm not going to go solve for it when they gave it to me. The y-intercept is 3. I am going to go solve for slope. So 11 minus 3 over negative 4 minus 0. Negative 2, yes? All right, now that I have those two, I would write y equals negative 2x plus 3. And then this one, negative 3, 6, 0, 5. Did they give me the y-intercept? What is it? 5. So I'm doing 5 minus 6, which is negative 1, over 0 minus negative 3, which is positive 3. So that's negative 1/3. So y equals negative 1/3 x plus 5. Okay, now let's talk about word problems. In the slope-intercept formula, what is slope-intercept? Y'all tell me. Y equals? Write it down. The m is the slope, also known as the rate of change. So you can put slope right here because it is slope, but it is also known as the constant rate of change. In word problems, there are clue words for rate. Who knows the clue words? What are clue words for rate? Per is like the biggest one. Each, every, and sometimes they like to use the word an, like $5 an hour. So per, each, every, and an. The B is the y-intercept. You already know that, so you can write y-intercept. But it is also known as the initial or starting value. Or if you want to call it, it's the one-time fee. These are the easiest problems because you've already done them in 7th grade, okay? So let's read the first example. A recording studio charges musicians an initial fee. Look right there. So is that the rate or the y-intercept? So this is going to be the B. So they charge them an initial fee of $50 to record a song. Studio time costs an additional $35 per hour. Did y'all see a clue word? So that is the rate. So how would I write this equation? Perfect. Y equals 35x plus 50. Now, could they also use other variables? Y'all stay focused. Could they also use other variables besides y and x? What do y'all think they would use in place of x? What does this say right here? So what variable might they use? H. So give me another. So instead of y, what are we solving for? What are we talking about? Yeah, so what are we talking about? Money. When we're talking about money, we could call that cost, yes? So give me a variable for that. C. So give me this as a different way. Y'all are going to have to talk louder. No, we just changed the X. What do we call it? H. Okay, so both of these would be correct. If you're using your calculator, you're going to use this one. On the EOC, there's a very good chance they're going to write it like that. Okay? How much for 10 hours of studio time? So what am I going to do to solve for that?
Plug in the X for 10.
Plug in 10 for X. All right, so I would do 35 times 10 plus 50. So that's 350 plus 50, which is 400 what? Okay, I'm going to give you about a minute to read the next one and circle the clue words, and then we're going to write an equation. Okay, so somebody give me the first clue word that you saw. Per what? So that told you that is a rate. So that's going to go in the place of the what in our slope-intercept form?
M.
The M. Okay, so how would I write this?
Y equals 25 and
All right, now it says a dance academy charges $20. So what piece is that? That's the B, the initial fee. So that's my plus 20. Now let's write it with different variables based off of what we're talking about. So what could we replace the Y with? What are we talking about for the output? Cost. So what do y'all want to use? C. Equals 25. Good. This equation helps you solve more because when you're looking at 2 hours, then it's helping you understand if you're plugging in for that X or that Y. So since it says 2 hours, what am I plugging in for? The X, which is the H. So I'm doing 25 times 2 plus 20. So that's 50 plus 20, which is 70 what? Okay, at the top of your paper, what is the whole form that we've learned today? Slope, intercept. So what would I write right here? Y equals mx plus b. So this entire assignment is going to be based off of this equation. Okay, so for 1 through 3, you are going to fill in the slope for the M and the y-intercept for the B. So 1 through 3, please don't overthink it. It's literally giving you the M and the B, yes? So for 4 through 6, your final answer should say y equals whatever x plus b, yes? So you need an M and a B. Now, I'm not going to go grade the M and the B separately. You are going to put them right here, yes? As your final answer. That's the only piece I'm going to grade. For 7 through 12, notice I left you lots of space. But on a few of these, don't overwork yourself. Look at number 7. What did they already give you?
The y-intercept.
They gave it to you. Don't overwork yourself. So they gave you the B. What is the B? -2. So you're going to solve for slope, and then your final answer will be y equals whatever x minus 2. Yes? Okay, when you get to the back, 13 through 15, you have to first write those as coordinates. So this is 0, -1, 3, -10. If they already gave you the y-intercept, please don't go solve for it. They already did it. But you still need an m and a b so that you can write that final answer as y equals mx plus b. Yes? And then 16 and 17 and 18, please don't overlook these word problems, guys. They're super easy. It's just like the ones we did on our notes, okay? And there are 3 questions each, so that's 9 questions, so don't forget to do them. All right, get busy.